Queen Mary and King Frederik. Two names that echo not just in Denmark but across Europe and beyond. When these two step into the spotlight, the world pays attention. Their story is not only one of tradition, duty, and protocol, but also of love, unity, and moments of genuine humanity that cut through centuries of royal formality. What unfolded on this occasion was one of those moments. A gesture so subtle, yet so powerful, that it left everyone in awe. And it all began when Queen Mary decided to break away from the strict rules of royal behavior. At first glance, the scene appeared like any other official event. Cameras flashing, courtiers watching, the atmosphere heavy with ceremony. But then Mary shifted the tone entirely. She decided to step away from the rigidity of tradition. With one simple act, she reminded the world that behind the crown, the gowns, and the strict decorum, there is still a woman of warmth, authenticity, and courage. Frederik's reaction came instantly. He did not hesitate. He did not falter. Instead, he leaned into her gesture with a naturalness that spoke volumes. It was not a forced response. It was not carefully orchestrated for public display. It was genuine. It was real. And it showed the strength of a marriage that has endured challenges, scrutiny, and the enormous weight of monarchy, yet continues to stand tall. The question that many are now asking is simple. What really happened at that moment? Why did Queen Mary choose to step away from the expected script, and why did Frederik's reaction resonate so deeply with both the audience present and the millions who later watched the clip worldwide? To understand the depth of this moment, we must look beyond the single event and into the long, intertwined history of this royal couple. Their marriage has often been described as the modern fairy tale. Mary Donaldson, a woman from Tasmania, far from the royal palaces of Europe, fell in love with a Danish prince during the Sydney Olympics. That chance encounter grew into a partnership that has now shaped the face of Denmark's monarchy. But with great love and destiny comes pressure. For years, Mary has been expected to adapt, to fit into a world governed by centuries-old codes of conduct. From the very beginning, she was thrust into a role where every step, every gesture, and every word would be analyzed. The press compared her to royals across Europe. The public scrutinized her fashion, her expressions, her tone of voice. And yet, Mary proved time and again that she was not just another royal consort. She was her own woman. Strong, independent, compassionate. This particular moment revealed exactly that side of her. In stepping away from rigid expectations, she showed the Danish people, and indeed the world, that monarchy need not be frozen in time. It can evolve, it can breathe, it can reflect the humanity of those who serve within it. Frederik's response, too, deserves deep attention. Here was a man who has often struggled under the shadow of responsibility. A prince who was, for years, seen as reluctant to fully embrace his destiny. And yet, beside Mary, he has grown into his role. He has become a king who balances tradition with modernity, duty with compassion, and leadership with love. His immediate reaction to Mary's gesture reflected not only his love for her but also his acceptance that change is not only inevitable but necessary. Observers at the event noted the way he looked at her. A glance that spoke louder than words. A nod of approval that felt like a promise. Together, they presented an image of unity. A marriage that is not just symbolic but deeply connected in truth. The symbolism of this cannot be underestimated. Royals breaking protocol is not new. Queen Elizabeth II did it on rare occasions. Princess Diana, often, was described as the people's princess, precisely because she dared to be different. And Mary now stands in that same lineage of royals who understand that their greatest power lies not in keeping distance but in showing closeness. The moment, once shared online, spread quickly. Social media platforms were flooded with reactions. Admirers praised Mary for her courage. Analysts dissected Frederik's body language. Some critics, however, questioned whether it was appropriate for a queen to step outside the formal script. But what became clear in the days that followed is that this single act sparked conversations about the future of monarchy itself. Can a monarchy survive in today's world without adapting? Without showing emotion? Without bridging the gap between ruler and ruled? Mary's choice that day provided one possible answer. Yes, it can survive. But only if it evolves. Only if it shows the people that their royals are not distant figures in gilded cages but real, relatable human beings. This was not the first time Queen Mary has shown this side of herself. Over the years, she has championed causes that demand empathy and authenticity. From children's rights to women's equality, from mental health to environmental responsibility, Mary has consistently used her platform to bring attention to the issues that matter most. In many ways, her decision to break with formality in this particular moment was not surprising at all. It was an extension of everything she stands for. Frederik's reaction, however, elevated it. The way he mirrored her tone, the way he backed her gesture, showed that theirs is not a marriage divided by tradition and change. Instead, it is a marriage where both partners walk hand in hand, even when the path is unfamiliar. This unity is perhaps the secret to their enduring success. The audience at the event could feel it. There was a shift in the room, a sense that something historic had taken place, even if it seemed small at first. It was a reminder that history is often made not in grand speeches or monumental reforms, but in moments like these. Subtle, quiet, genuine. As commentators later explained, this act by Queen Mary is likely to be remembered as one of those defining moments of her reign. A moment that symbolizes her vision of monarchy in the 21st century. Inclusive, human, warm. It also reflected the strength of her relationship with Frederik. For in that instant, it was not just about her decision. It was about his reaction. The two of them, together, embodying the very idea of partnership. Not just in private, but before the eyes of the nation. The Danish people have long admired Mary for her elegance and grace. But now, they are also admiring her courage. To be yourself in a world that demands conformity is no small act. To do so while wearing a crown is even more powerful. And what of Frederik? His approval in that moment cemented his image as a king who is not threatened by change, but who embraces it. A man who understands that true strength lies not in rigidity, but in flexibility. Not in authority alone, but in love. This event has already been compared to similar iconic royal gestures. When Queen Elizabeth lowered her head before Princess Diana's coffin, breaking with centuries of royal custom, it sent shockwaves across Britain. When Prince William and Kate Middleton shared unguarded laughter during solemn occasions, it humanized them before the public. And now, when Queen Mary chose to step aside from the script and Frederik responded in kind, they too created a moment that will linger in memory. Every monarchy survives not because of its ceremonies, but because of its people. And the people, in turn, want to see themselves reflected in their leaders. Mary and Frederik gave them exactly that. A glimpse of humanity, a reminder of love, a display of unity that felt real. The story of that day will be retold for years to come. It will be studied in documentaries, analyzed in books, and remembered in conversations. Because it was not just about a queen breaking protocol. It was about a couple showing the world what true partnership looks like, even in the face of centuries of expectation. As the cameras captured the moment, and as the images traveled across the globe, one thing became clear. Mary and Frederik are not simply monarchs. They are role models of what leadership can look like when rooted in love, respect, and authenticity. If a single gesture can redefine how we view monarchy, what greater transformations might lie ahead for Queen Mary, King Frederik, and the royal family of Denmark? The truth is, such moments are rarely accidental. They are born out of years of adaptation, years of learning, and years of silently observing what the people need most from their sovereigns. Mary's decision to break with tradition was not simply about the event at hand. It was about sending a message to every Dane watching, every royal observer analyzing, and every citizen wondering what their monarchy stands for in today's world. It was a reminder that the Danish crown is not locked in the past. It is alive, breathing, and evolving. When Mary took that step, whether deliberate or instinctive, she also carried with her the weight of the legacy she is now shaping. Denmark is no stranger to powerful queens. Queen Margrethe II, her mother-in-law, reigned for over 5 decades with intellect, wit, and a sharp understanding of her people. Margrethe was respected for her artistry and her remarkable ability to carry the monarchy through decades of social change. But Mary represents something different. While Margrethe stood as a symbol of continuity, Mary embodies adaptation. She is a modernizer, but not one who tears down tradition. Instead, she carefully bends it, softens it, and makes it accessible. Observers have noted that this balancing act is not easy. In fact, it is perhaps one of the greatest challenges any consort faces. Too much adherence to tradition, and the monarchy risks being seen as outdated. Too much informality, and it risks losing its mystique. Mary's brilliance lies in her ability to walk that line with grace. She knows when to lean into history and when to let her own humanity shine through. This moment, captured so vividly, is a perfect example of that balance. Frederik's role cannot be overstated either. In the past, critics have often wondered whether he was ready to lead, whether he possessed the gravitas required of a monarch. He was sometimes portrayed as hesitant, occasionally uncertain of his place in history. But what these critics often overlooked was his humanity. Frederik is not a man of grand, flamboyant gestures. He is a man of subtle depth. A man who leads by quiet strength, and whose greatest support comes from the woman at his side. His immediate reaction to Mary was, in its own way, a coronation of love. He crowned her choice with acceptance, ensuring the world knew that in this partnership, she was not acting alone. She was acting with him, and he with her. This moment has also reignited conversations about the role of women in modern monarchies. For centuries, queens consort were expected to remain in the background. They were symbols of support, not voices of change. But figures like Queen Letizia of Spain, Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, and now Queen Mary of Denmark are rewriting that narrative. They are active partners in governance, culture, and diplomacy. They bring charisma, intellect, and compassion into spaces that once demanded silence. Mary's act was not just about her marriage. It was about redefining what it means to be a queen in the 21st century. And yet, the magic of this moment lay not in its grandness, but in its simplicity. It was not a speech. It was not a formal announcement. It was a gesture, small, almost imperceptible, but it spoke louder than any words could. In that sense, it echoed the greatest truths of human connection. Often, it is the unspoken acts, the shared glances, the instinctive reactions, that tell us more than rehearsed declarations ever could. For the Danish people, and for all who witnessed it, this was a reminder that their monarchy is not detached from the human experience. It is a part of it. Social media reactions revealed just how deeply people connected with it. Many wrote about how refreshing it was to see genuine affection between royals in such a formal setting. Others pointed out how inspiring it felt to witness leaders showing vulnerability. A few even admitted that it made them rethink their opinions about monarchy altogether. Because in a world often dominated by cynicism, moments of sincerity have the power to restore trust. But what lies ahead? Will Mary and Frederik continue to push gently at the boundaries of tradition? Will we see more of these unscripted moments in the years to come? The answer seems clear. Their reign will likely be defined not by rigid ceremonies but by the authenticity they bring to the throne. And authenticity, in an age of constant media scrutiny, may be the most valuable currency a royal can have. It is also worth noting the generational impact. Their children, including Crown Prince Christian and Princess Isabella, are growing up in a monarchy shaped by these values. They are learning from their parents that tradition does not have to mean distance, and that leadership can be expressed through kindness as much as through authority. One can only imagine how such lessons will influence their own futures as royals in a rapidly changing world. The more we look at this moment, the more we realize it was not just about Mary breaking protocol or Frederik reacting. It was about a vision for the monarchy itself. A vision that says royalty can be both timeless and timely. That it can inspire without alienating. That it can remain majestic without losing touch with the people it serves. And so, the legacy of that day continues to grow. It is no longer just about what happened. It is about what it symbolizes. A queen with the courage to be herself. A king with the strength to support her. A marriage built on unity. And a monarchy willing to evolve before the eyes of the world. As the story of Queen Mary and King Frederik unfolds, one thing is certain. Their reign will not be remembered solely for their titles or their ceremonies. It will be remembered for the moments when they let their humanity shine through. For the times when they reminded their people that love, unity, and authenticity are the true foundations of leadership. And so we return to the question that lingers in every viewer's mind. If this one moment could spark such admiration, such reflection, and such hope, what other moments await us in the journey of Denmark's royal couple? Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment to support more royal stories like this.